Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we got some good news coming from the West Coast about cruising, and then we have some bad news. It's two different occasions, one very recently, one that's now going before the courts about passengers being seriously injured or worse on cruise ships. First off, excuse my voice and my nasalness and my throat. I am getting over a really bad cold since I got back from my cruise last weekend. So I'm trying to suffer through it right now. But the news must go on. First off, we'll talk about the good news out there with Seattle. Seattle is expecting over 288 cruise ships this season, mostly, of course, sailing to Alaska. They say that's about 10% higher than they've ever had before. So a record-breaking season for Seattle. Well, not to be outdone, both Vancouver and Victoria, Canada are expecting over 300 cruise ship stops this year. Again, another record-breaking season, and it's all due to Alaska. Princess Cruise Lines alone has 7 different ships sailing to Alaska this season, and one of them which started in Vancouver this week. So cruising to Alaska season has officially started in Canada, Seattle, and yeah, my niece is heading in a couple weeks, so Alaska's here, folks. Now's the time to go, but it's going to be a crowded season. Well, unfortunately, that's about it for the good news. I have a current accident and then one that happened in the past. Let's talk about the one that happened in the past first. This accident happened in Barbados as a cruise passenger was disembarked from a Saga cruise ship and was, I guess, waiting for a bus or just getting off to enjoy. The cruise had actually made an unscheduled stop at this port to refuel. It wasn't on its itinerary. Unfortunately, an 87-year-old female tourist was actually crushed by a 10-wheel truck that reversed and backed up over her on the quayside. Now, it's in front of the courts right now, and there are a lot of allegations going around, and it's kind of hard to know who to blame here. Obviously, the driver of the truck is immediately to blame, and he has been arrested and is awaiting trial. In fact, this trial has been suspended until the outcome of that trial, but some other allegations came towards the cruise line and the cruise port itself. The cruise port is said to have no security at the quayside when the ship had arrived. Now, Saga themselves say it's unusual for the port to provide security in this area at all, at any time. Also, the son of the passenger who passed away has thrown shade on the captain of the cruise ship, saying that he was out there just moments before this accident and actually jumped on a shore excursion about 20 minutes before the accident happened. So he should have come out and realized that the quay area wasn't cleared, wasn't safe, and instead of fixing it and hanging around and looking after the passengers, he went on a shore excursion. That's the claim anyway. I'm not sure of the proceeds in this particular stop when it's an unscheduled stop, what the procedures are. Like, there's obviously, I've been to many cruise ports where there's trucks driving around and there's work being done and there's cranes out there. They're usually roped off and away from an area. Now, the driver in this case, turned out his driver's license for heavy vehicles was suspended, and he back in 2019, so he should never have been driving that to begin with. And then the Port Authority is out there also saying that they've launched an investigation and found that the trucks had a blind side. The truck had poor rear visuals. It actually backed over the passenger. And so there looks like that Saga says, well, you know, they don't have any security out there, and they had an unlicensed truck driver. The Sun is saying, well, the captain should have done something. He should have looked after the passengers. It looks like a who's to blame. There's so many things that went wrong on this one that it's hard to find out. Obviously, the driver is going to go away for a while. Unlicensed, backed up over somebody. Yeah, you know, if you have a blind side, apparently there's not even like a, you know how big trucks when they back up and they beep, beep, beep. There wasn't even a warning sign for backing up trucks. So yeah, it's a messy situation. But it's been suspended now while the driver's case comes to trial. And I imagine that that's where everyone's blame is going to try and push, except maybe the son of the passenger, because who has more money, the cruise line, the cruise port, or a lone driver who had failed to even get his license renewed? We'll see what happens with that one. Another bad story, and again, this is all about, the reason I'm bringing these up is to be aware of your surroundings wherever you are. I always say when you're on shore excursions and the shore excursion doesn't look safe, stop. Like if you're on a zip line and the people aren't paying attention and things like that, don't go on the zip line. Just stop and go back to the cruise ship and get your money back and say, they were not operating it safely, that's why I want my money back. Because people have died on zip lines from crew not paying attention. Not the ship crew, the crew running the zip line. However, here's a case where in St. Martin's, they have water taxis that will also, shuttle you back and forth from different areas, just like Florida has water taxis around. Well, apparently one was out further, anchored off a little bit offshore, apparently getting ready to refuel or something, and a cruise passenger decided to jump in the water and swim out to the water taxi. And then when they attempted to get onto the water taxi at the rear of the ship, his foot got caught in the propeller and pulled him back under, apparently causing severe damage to one of his legs. Crew jumped into things, other people jumped in, rescued the man, and they provided medical attention to him right there at the dock, and then brought him to the St. Martin Medical Center, where he is in severe injury, has sustained, but he's in stable condition. But again, something that seems so simple, like jumping onto a water taxi and climbing up the ladder and getting on, well, you don't know. It was a dumb thing to do. It was a dumb thing to do. And something simple like that, it sounds very easy. Normally when people are swimming up to a boat, like you're going out on some kind of scuba excursion or snorkeling and that, when you're swimming to the boat to get on, the propellers aren't going. They've shut them off until the passengers are on board. They probably didn't know this person was coming to their boat in the water, and so the propellers were running. And this is what happens. It catches somebody off guard. The cruise ship and the passenger is unknown right now, but we do know the passenger is stable, although very seriously injured. Some reports saying has lost part of his leg. So a tragic story out there, but again, one of warning. Beware of your surroundings out there everywhere you go when you're on vacation. It doesn't have to be a cruise. It can be any of your holidays. Going to a cottage. Just be aware of your surroundings, and it might seem like a very simple, mundane thing to do. I'm just going to jump in the water, swim over to the boat, and get on. And then it changes your life forever because it just wasn't a good idea. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.